Hello there, GED Math students, or any math student that has to take standardized tests. Today I'm going to show you a test-taking strategy called the plug-in strategy. That's what I call it. And I'm going to show you when to use it and how to use it. And I've done this in other videos, but I want to go a little further in depth here because I've had questions about it. So if you notice in this particular problem, it says to multiply 4x minus y by or times x minus y. It says to multiply these two. They're called binomials, but you don't really need to know. Now, if you're good at math, or not good at math, I didn't mean to say that. I mean, but if you have good skills in algebra and you know how to do the algebraic method, knock yourself out and use the algebraic method to do this. But I'm going to show you a way around that. Now, if you notice in this problem, there are two variables here. We have an x variable here and a y variable all over the place. Here's an xy, xy. Here's a y, here's an x, here's a y, and so on and so forth. Now, whenever your answer choice has variables or letters in it, as this does, not your answer choice, I meant to say your problem. Here's your problem right here. Whenever your problem right here has letters in it, and you need to like multiply, add, subtract, or simplify, and your answer choices here, right, have letters in them, that's a great time to use the plug-in strategy. So let me show you how to do that. Again, as we already clarified, there's two letters we're dealing with, x and y. So I need to assign values for x and y. You can really pick any values you want, almost any values. There's times where you might pick a value and you'll get an error on the calculator. If that happens, you'll just pick another value. The one I definitely stay away from is 0, because that, for these types of problems, can throw you off. Now, for other types of problems, actually 0 is very beneficial, but usually for the GED math test, using 0 might throw you into some problems. So let's stay away from 0. And you can use 1 here. I usually try to stay away from that as well. So what you need to do is assign a value for x. Any value you want. Let's just stay away from 0 and 1 for now. Let's say x is, how about 3? Okay. Now you need to assign a different value for y because they're different letters. You don't want to assign 3 for y as well. They have to be different values. So how about if we pick 5 for y? Make sure these are different because they're different letters. Now you're probably wondering, why did I use 3 and 5, and can I use different values? I'm going to show you that you can, and it will still work. So let me show you how to deal with the calculator to assign these values for x and y on the calculator. And I did a video on how to use the GED math calculator, this one, the TI-30XS. You may need to watch that, but I'll try to go slow here and review how I do it. Now, we're going to be assigning or storing values for x and y. There's a storage button here. You see that. If you look above here, there's a recall button. I'm just going to hit that real quick. So remember, whenever you want to access the green stuff above the buttons, you need to hit the second button. So I'm going to hit second storage, and that will give me recall. So second storage. And if you look at here, we have values assigned for x, y, and z. We have 0. It says x is 0, y is 0, z is 0. We can scroll down. There's other values. T is 0, and so on. Everything, every variable or a letter is equal to 0. Now, we're going to change that. I'm going to go back to the top. And if you ever want to just clear this out, if there were numbers in here and you wanted to clear it out, which isn't really necessary, but if you wanted to, you could hit clear variables. So let's just quit out of here for now. Remember to quit, it's right here. So again, to access the green buttons, or the green stuff, I should say, you have to hit the second button first. Once you hit that second button, all the green stuff above the buttons is in place. I'm going to hit second mode. And now we're back at our home screen. So that was just some calculator stuff you really didn't need to know. Just trying to make you familiar with it. But the goal here is to assign 3 to x. And you read it backwards. We're going to store 3 with x. So watch how I do this. I'm going to start with my 3 right here. Then I'm going to hit my storage button. Now notice the arrow popped up twice. That was an accident, not a problem. Just go back, hit delete. We have 1 arrow. You can even hit clear and start over. So again, 3. We're going to store that in for x, store. And I'm going to hit this button here and the x will pop up, this one right here. And I did a video on this. You can watch that video. It's called How to Use the GED Math Calculator. Now, once I've done that, and you notice I entered it backwards, I entered it 3 stored for x instead of the other way. I hit enter. Now, x has a value of 3. Now, the next thing I want to do is store 5 in for y. So I'm going to hit 5. I'm going to hit storage right here. And now I want to assign the 5 with the y. Now watch what happens here. Careful. When you hit this button the first time, it gives you an x again. I don't want an x. So hit it again. Just hit this again, and it turns to a y. What happens if you keep hitting it? Watch. It'll become X, Y, Z, T, A, B, C. It'll become all these letters that you have on the button. So if I hit it again, 5 is stored with Z. And if I hit it again, 5 is stored with T, and so on. Just keep hitting this button until you get the right variable. And I want this to be Y. So I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it again until it's Y. C now. X again. Boom, it's Y. So now 5 is stored with Y. 5 is stored with Y. I will hit enter. Let me try that again. And now, and don't forget to hit enter when you're done with this. You have 3 stored with X. That's what I wanted. And then I hit enter and the 3 showed up here. And then I wanted 5 stored with Y. So I went 5 stored with Y. I hit enter and the 5 showed up here. I'm good to go now. I can even clear this out and it's all good. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to go ahead and hit my recall button right here. You don't need to do this. I'm just showing you how it's stored. So watch this. I'm going to hit, I want to do recall. It's in green. So to access the green stuff, I need to hit this button right here first. So I hit second. Now all the green stuff's in play. I hit storage. Now look it. Isn't that cool? It says now X is equal to 3. And it says Y is equal to 5. So that's a check. You don't need to do that, but you can. The other variables are all assigned to 0 still. Now let's quit out of this. So I'm going to hit second mode. And let's clear this to clean out our screen. I'll hit clear. It's still stored in there. If you don't believe me, watch. I'll go back to second recall. Watch. Second storage. Look, it's still stored in there. X is 3, Y is 5. Let's quit out again. Second mode. Now I'm really set to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to punch in this piece just like I see it. I'm going to punch in 4x minus y times. Why is it times? Because it says to multiply here. There's actually a time sign there if you want to put it in. Put that in there. So let's punch this in just like we see it, and let me show you how to do that. So we have an open parenthesis here. That's right here. So hit that. Then go 4x. So 4 from here. X right here. Which is right here. And then minus y. So I'm going to go minus right here. This is minus. This is negative. I want to hit this one. Minus from here. Y. Okay, now I'm going to have to hit this button. I'm going to hit it once. That's X, so I hit it again until it turns to a Y. Boom, it turned to a y. I close my parenthesis. I don't really need to show my time sign. The calculator knows, so I'm actually going to erase this. The calculator knows this. I'm going to just erase this time sign. Because when there's no operation, it implies multiplication. So just punch it in just like you see it. So now I'm going to go open parenthesis right here. X minus y. I'm going to have to hit this twice. 1 time, 2 times. And let's say you accidentally hit it 3 times. Uh-oh, it's a z. Just keep hitting it again till it turns into a y. Right? You're not going to break anything. Don't be afraid to play around with this calculator to get used to it. You'll close your parenthesis here. And now you're going to hit enter. And what came out? When I plugged in 3 for x and 5 for y into here, I got out a negative 14. So I'll put right here, how about negative 14? Get a good color here so you can see it. Let's see. Let's make it negative 14. I'll put that in green. Negative 14. Right here. This is my target answer. I'll call that my target answer. In other words, when I plugged in 3 for x here and 5 for y here on both places, I got out a negative 14. Now what I'm going to do is see when I plug this one in, which one comes out to be a minus 14. Whichever one does will be my correct answer. Let's go ahead and start with A. All right, let's clear this out so this is nice and clean. Remember my target answer of negative 14. Hit clear. I am going to punch this in for A. I'm going to punch in 4x squared plus 5xy plus y squared. Watch how I do this. It's a little bit tricky. So I'm going to start with my 4 right here. 4. X. Here's my x. X right here. Squared. 2 ways to do squared. You can hit the caret button or the up arrow button and a 2. That's one way to do it, like this. Click this and then a 2. Some people like it like that. Another way to do it, I'm just going to delete this now. Another way to do this squared from right here is just hit x squared. 2 ways to do that. See, I just hit this once and a squared came up. So you can mess around with that. Now we have plus 5 and then xy. Now this is the tricky part. We have an x and y right next to each other. So let's do the x first. I'll hit x. It pops up. Now, careful here. What you need to do after this is an x is you need to hit your right arrow button right here. See how I hit that right arrow button? Now you can punch in the y. So you'll hit this button. And it's XX. Hit it again. It's XY. I'm going to do that again to make sure you got it because this is where there's confusion. So let's just delete these. Okay, so here's what a lot of students do. They go, we got the 5 in there. They type in the x. And then they want to type in the y. So they hit this again. And uh-oh, it turns that to a y now. It's tricky to get the x and the y together like that. So let's just do that one more time to make sure you have it. Let me delete this. So remember, I hit my x right here. Then to get the y, you need to hit your right arrow button. Then you go back here and hit this button once, not once actually, because if you hit it once, you get XX. Hit it again to get the y. So practice that to get the xy, then plus, and then y squared. 2 ways to do y squared now. I'm going to do y, so I'm going to hit this button twice. 1 time, 2 times, and I'm going to square it. I'm going to hit enter now and see what I get. I got 136. This is 136. That does not match up with my target answer of negative 14. Doesn't match up. A is gone. Now we're going to punch in B and see if B works. So clear this out. Let's punch this in. I recommend pausing the video and trying B. Punch it into your calculator and see if you get your target answer of negative 14. If you do, you're done. Welcome back. Let me punch in 4. Here's my 4. X. Right here. I'll do square the other way just so you have practice with both ways. This time I'll use this up arrow. Instead of just hitting x squared, I'll go up arrow and then 2. Just so you have practice with both. Minus. Oop. You know what? That's didn't work because the minus one up here, let me delete that. If you use that up arrow, you need to get the cursor back down. See, you need to bring it down right here. It's up here now. So you need to get it down. Actually, my fault. Let me do that again because I'm kind of glad I did that. If you are, sometimes you do need to use this button if it's like cubed or to the 4th power. So watch this. I go 4 from here, X. And I'm going to use this one. And then 2. Now you got to get the cursor back down. You actually need to hit the right arrow to get the cursor back down. See that? I hit this right arrow, it brings it down to its normal position. Then I can punch in the minus 5xy. So just in case you ever have to use that, keep that in mind. I think it's easier just to use this x squared button. So let's just start from the beginning again and just use this one. So 4x squared. Easier that way. Minus 5xy. 5x, and then I hit this right arrow, and then I hit this twice. Plus y squared plus, hit this twice, squared. Make sure this matches up with this. 4x squared minus 5xy plus y squared. 4x squared minus 5xy plus y squared matches up. Hit enter. Now look at that. I got negative 14. So watch. This is negative 14. Matches up with my target answer. So B is my answer, and I'm done. Now, a lot of students asked me, what happens if you use different values for X and Y? You're still going to get B, and I'm going to show that to you. That's part of the reason I made this video. The previous video, I didn't show you that you could use different values and it would still work. The thing is, you'll get a different target answer. That's okay. You're still going to get B as your correct answer. That's what's so cool about this. So let's just start this over and use different values for X and Y. I'll go ahead and erase this. And again, remember, we're done. The answer is B, but we're going to use different values for X and Y. Let me do it this way. Let me erase all of this. Now, technically, you could use 1 here. I want to stay away from it. If you use 0, you'd have problems. Don't want to use 0 here. So what did we use last time? Again, I believe we used 3 and 5, right? We used 3 and 5. So you could even pick a negative number if you want to. I don't recommend it. That makes it harder. How about if we use 7 and 8? Let's use 7 and 8. 7x, and we'll use 8 for y. So I'll use 7 and 8. Remember, these have to be different, though. So we originally used 3 and 5. Now I'm going to use 7 and 8 and watch what happens. Now, we need to store 7 in for x now. You don't need to clear anything out. Just restore this, okay? Now, if you go to, again, remember, if you go to recall here, it shows us that x is 3 and y is 5, but we now want x to be 7 and y to be 8. Why did I pick 7 and 8? Because I wanted to. You could use 10 and 20. I wouldn't use very, very big numbers. So you want to stay away from those because your calculator will start giving funny answers if you use really big numbers. 7 and 8 are kind of big, but I'm just showing you this for your understanding. So let's quit out of here, second mode, and let's store 7 in for X and 8 in for Y. So let's do that. So I'm going to go 7, store for X, hit enter. Don't forget to hit enter. Now I need to store 8 in for Y. 8, store, I'm going to hit this twice now. 1 time, 2 times. 8 stored for Y. Hit enter. And now watch this. Go back to this recall thing right here. Watch this. Go second, storage. And now you can see X is 7, Y is 8. You don't need to do this. I'm just showing you how it changed the value for X and Y. Let's quit out of here. So quits here. So go second mode and hit clear. That did not clear out the values for X and Y. If you don't believe me, go to second recall and you'll see that X is 7 and Y is 8 still. I'll do it for you real quick. Watch. Second recall. See? X is 7, Y is 8. Quit. Let's quit. So I'll go second mode. Now I'm going to do the same thing. What you're going to see is you're going to get a different target answer. I believe the target answer before was a negative 14. I could be wrong, but this time it'll be a different target answer. That's okay. It's still going to match up with B. So let's punch this in again. And I'm going to punch it in a little faster. So we're going to punch in 4x minus y, parenthesis, 4x minus y, close parentheses. So I punched in this, parenthesis, x minus y, x minus y. Hit this twice, close it, hit enter, hit enter. Now you have a target answer that's different. It's no longer negative 14. I believe that's what it was before. I might be mistaken. It's now negative 20. I'll just put negative 20. So when I plug in 7 for X here and here and 8 for Y here and here, if you did it actually by hand, you get out a negative 20. This is my target answer. Now let's go through the same thing. You're going to see now that B is still going to give us, is still going to be the answer. Watch, I'll punch in A real quick. We will not get a target answer, the target answer of negative 20. So I'm going to punch in A really quick. Let's clear this. I'll punch in 4x squared plus 5xy plus y squared. So 4x squared plus 5xy plus y squared. I get 540. Nope, that doesn't match with negative 20. Now watch, when I use B again, I'll get negative 20 and I'll still get the same answer. So let's clear this and punch in B. 4x squared minus 5xy minus 5xy plus y squared. Oops, I did x squared. No problem. I didn't break anything. Just go back and delete the x. Just delete that. Or actually, I think you can hold the cursor over it and just hit this button. No, just delete it. Delete it. Didn't work. So y squared. Okay, so make sure it matches up, right? 4x squared minus 5xy plus y squared over here. 4x squared minus 5xy plus y squared. Hit enter. Look at that. You get a negative 20 now. And it still matches up, right? It matched up with this. Now, some of my students are saying, why am I getting out different target answers? The first time I got the negative 14, right? And the second time I got out a negative 20. So let me make sure you're clear on this. Let me erase some stuff here. Where's my, there it is. This is just so you're clear on the understanding. The first time I used x equals 3 and x equals 5 and y equals 5. I got out a target answer of negative 14 when I did that. And then when I went to b, which was my answer choice in both cases, I also got out a target answer of negative 14. So when I used 3 and 5, my target answer was negative 14. Why? Well, because I'm using, if you do this by hand, if you plug in 3 for x and 5 for y, right, into these values, you'll get out a negative 14. And same thing with b. But the second time I use 7 and 8, right? So if you do this by hand and you plug in 7 and 8 for x and y, here and here and here and here, you'll get out a negative 20, and you'll also get out a negative 20 here. You'll get out different target answers depending on what you choose for x and y. That's okay. The point is you'll still get the right answer of b each time. Doesn't matter what you pick for x and y. Hope that cleared some things up. Let's go to question 2 for some more practice. Question 2, and actually this is the last question. I just wanted to go over a couple. And this is one of those problems that requires some algebra, but this plug-in strategy will help you if your algebra skills are not strong. And even if your algebra skills are strong, I would recommend you use the plug-in strategy. So why am I using the plug-in strategy? Well, it says subtract, and we have letters in our question, right? We have an X, and in our answer choices, we have letters. Perfect time to use the plug-in strategy. And this one only has one variable. It has X, right? There's no Y, Z, or T. So I need to assign a value for X. What would you like X to be? Again, you want to stay away from 0 here. Actually, to be honest with you here, yeah, 0 is going to not work. So just stay away from 0 in all cases for the GED math test. As I said earlier, sometimes the 0 is actually beneficial, but let's not use it. We could use 1. Again, I like to stay away from 1. So how about 2, 3, 4, or 5? Now, I want to forewarn you of something here. You can usually pick any value you want. Again, for these problems, we'll stay away from 0 and 1. But there's one value here that's going to mess things up. It's going to be the 3. The reason I know that is because if I plug in a 3 for x here, I go 3 minus 3, which is 0, and I will be dividing by 0, and that will give you an error. But let's just say you're taking the GED math test and you're not aware of that fact, okay? And again, you're staying away from 0 and 1, and you say, you know what, I like 3, because personally, I usually pick 2 or 3. So let's say you decided to pick 3. I'm going to show you what is going to happen. Let's clear this out from before. And let's assign 3 for x. So again, if you go to recall right here, second storage, you can see that x is 7 and y is 8, but we want 3. I don't even care about what y is or z is. The only thing I care about right now is x, okay? You can keep y at 8, or you can clear out your variables. If you want to clear out your variables, you would go clear variables right here. But let's just reassign the value for x. It doesn't matter what y is. So again, we're going to go 3 is stored with x. 3 is stored with x. Hit enter. Now, if you want to check it, you can go recall again. So you'll go second storage, and it says x is 3. It says y is 8, so we don't care what y is or any of the rest of them because we're only dealing with x. So x is 3, and we're going to go ahead and punch some stuff in. So watch, we'll go second mode to quit out of here. Okay, and I'm going to clear this. Remember, when I clear this, it doesn't change any of the storage values. Let's punch this in now. This is 2 over x. I'm going to make it a fraction. Hit your fraction button right here. I'm going to go 2 on top. Hit your down arrow right here. Put the x on the bottom. Now you need to get the cursor in the normal position. So hit your right arrow. That's still not in the normal position. Hit it again. There, now it's in the normal position. Hit minus. Make sure you use minus here. This is your negative sign, so minus. And then now we're going to punch in another fraction, this one. So we'll hit our fraction button. On the top, I'll put x. From here, I'll put it here. Hit your x button. Go to the denominator, hit your down arrow, and punch in x minus 3 on the bottom. X from here, minus 3. You can hit enter at this point, but I like to get my cursor back to the original position. You don't have to here, but that's a good habit. So I'm going to just hit my right arrow, and it's back to the normal position. Now watch, hit enter. You get an error. It says divide by 0, error. When that happens, and I knew this was going to happen, but if this happened on the GED Math test, don't sweat it. Just pick a different value for x. So let's not use 3. Again, most of the time you can pick whatever value you want, but this might happen at times. So how about if we pick another value? I don't know. We could do 2, 4, 5. I don't know. How about if we pick 4? 3 didn't work. 2 would. We could have used 2 instead. And again, if you pick 2, it has nothing to do with these 2s or 3s, but I decided to pick 4. We should be good now. So let's clear this. And actually, I think I can just leave this in here for now. Let's see if we can just leave this in here, but we got to change our storage, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And you know what? You might want to start over. You actually might be able to leave this in here. I'm not sure. I'll let you mess around with your calculator on this. I'm just going to clear it out, and I'm going to restore the variables. So 4 goes with x now. So 4 store with x. Now you can check it, right? You want to hit recall. That's green. Whenever you want to get the green stuff in play above the buttons, hit your second button first. Now all the green stuff's in play. So I want recall, so I'll hit this. Check it out. X is 4. Y still at 8. So what? We're not worried about Y, Z, or any of the rest. We know that 4 is stored with X, and let's go again on this. We'll quit. Second mode. Let's clear this just so it doesn't confuse us. Punch this in again. I'll do it a little quicker this time. Fraction 2x. I had to hit that twice to get it back in its normal position. Minus, then fraction again. Here's your fraction button. X. Down, x minus 3, x minus 3. Get that back in its normal position. You didn't have to there, but it's a good habit. Hit enter. So we get -7/2. That's our target answer. -7/2. Now, if you would use something other than 4, your target answer would be different. But it all worked out. I explained that in the previous problem. Target answer. Let's start with A. Do you have to start with A? No, you can start with the other ones, but let's just start with A. If you have a hunch that C is the correct answer, then go ahead and punch in C. I'm going to clear this. Let's punch in A. Okay, so punch it in just like you see it. It's a big fraction. Fraction. This is a negative sign, not a minus sign, because it's There's nothing to the left of it. There's nothing over here in this area to the left of it. There's no number there. It's just sitting there kind of all by itself, and it's the first thing you see. So it's going to be the negative sign right here, negative. Parenthesis, parenthesis, x squared, x squared, minus 2x. Now this is minus because it's not the first thing you see. There's stuff between it. That's one way to kind of tell that it's minus as well. Now that doesn't always work. There's always exceptions, but use your minus sign now. Minus 2x, 2x plus 6, close your parenthesis. Make sure it's the same. The top numerator is the same. It matches up. The numerator here matches up with this. Hit your down arrow. X right here. Parenthesis from right here. Then X minus 3. Right here, close it. Make sure this matches up with this. And remember, the only negative sign in here was this first one right here. On this one right here, that's where I use this one. Hit enter. Hey, check it out. It came out the same. Yay. Thank goodness. Now I don't have to punch in the other one. So this came out to be negative 7/2 as well for A. It matched up with our target answer. I'm done. And A answer. Now, I recommend, and I'm not going to do it this time, plug in a different value for X. Try 5. You'll get out a different target answer, but you'll also get out a different target answer for A, and they'll match up as well. And you'll still get the same answer. I hope this plug-in strategy has helped you. It's a really cool way to help you get extra points, especially when your algebra skills are not that strong. I think you'll find this very beneficial, and hopefully you'll see 1 or 2 questions like this on the test, and you can use this method to increase your score. Again, thanks for watching all my videos, and have a great night.